Good evening from the Arizona desert. My name is Tom, and I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona, and this is the nightly DoorDash numbers from the desert. Today was Monday, February 2nd. Monday, February 2nd. We had some challenges today. I was making progress on my goal through the desert, and I decided that today was the day that I was going to pay off one of my credit cards. So I went into my bank, and not going to name the bank, although I'd love to throw them under the bus. But went into my online profile, paid the card from my checking account in there, and then I went to go and transfer money externally to a different bank, and they asked me some challenge questions. The problem is these challenge questions aren't anything that I remember doing. They're probably pulling it from my credit report or some type of public data, but they asked me for a license plate of a vehicle that I used to own probably 2.5 years ago. I did not know that. I had like a minute and a half to answer these questions. Don't know how many questions there were, but I had to, in a sense, almost do an IQ test. I had to go through the 6 or 7 selections that they had and go, well, I'm not sure of the plate, but that one looks like the numbering sequence for Arizona of 3 letters and 4 numbers, and so I selected it. But I had already used up like a minute of my minute and a half, and then the next one asked me about a corporation that I had worked with, which happened to have been a corporation that I worked with when I was probably 18 years old, and I'm currently 61, will be 62 in March. So luckily I remembered that one, but then I got to the third one, I couldn't even tell you what the question was because then they locked me out of my account. And so I proceeded to call the number to get that information and, get this all squared away so that I could unlock the account and go make the transfer. And they're like, well, we need your account number. I'm like, well, I'm logged into your website. Where is the information on your website? Well, I don't know that. Well, it's your flipping company. What do you mean you don't know that? I couldn't find it. And, truth be told, I probably could have gone into my phone and I could have gone into my, security password application, and I may have had that information in there. But otherwise, all I had was the debit card. Well, the debit card wasn't good enough, or the credit card number wasn't good enough. They had my social security number, they had my address, they had my phone number. Well, they didn't have my secondary phone number. So that person couldn't help me. So I said, well, can you transfer me to someone who can? So she did that, and they proceeded to do the same exact thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm pausing my dash. I had to pause it twice. So I lost an hour of my time, which is why the numbers aren't at least 360. They're 345. But I physically had to go into the bank, and of course I'm making a small scene in the lobby of, this was my worst experience ever, and, after I had just paid off the credit card, this other bank is just one that I do an automatic transfer to as I am pursuing this debt snowball process, and, so like now I will be increasing the amount that I'm pulling out of my DoorDash funds, the payment that would have gone to the credit card, and I'm just transferring that over so it's a lump sum that I can then use to start making $800 payments towards another credit card. Somewhere around there, I don't know the exact number. But, wow. I guess then throughout the day, I'm kind of now in a funk. I just did not feel like really motivating. I think I took a couple of small naps, and it's all woulda, coulda, shoulda. I could have made more money, but I left the money on the table. Just wasn't feeling it today. So I'm checking my email, and lo and behold, I guess they said that they tried calling the phone that's been shut off now for quite a while. It's in my car as a backup, but I don't have it on. There's no reason to have it on. It's my backup phone. But I guess that's the primary phone on that account. So the branch manager, VP of the branch management or whatever, tried calling me numerous times and finally shut off. Because they see the dollar amount inside of the checking account, and they're like, we don't want to lose this guy, but I'm ranting and raving about, no, this is my worst experience ever. Your mobile app doesn't work. Your website doesn't have the detailed information, so I can't answer the question to get, serviced. And I wanted to change my phone number right at the cashier, who's, giving me the money that I needed to transfer over into my personal checking, which is another $1,000. And, so I'm pulling out $1,000. And it's, that guy couldn't help me either. I'm like, I'm done. I am done. This is why I don't bank with you. This is why you're not my primary bank. I'm out of here. Give me my money. Took it over to the other bank, deposited it, gave her the envelope with the name of the branch on it, and I'm like, you can throw that envelope in the trash where that company belongs. So yeah, that was my day. So let's go take a look at the rest of the money, where we're at actually. First, let's go on over here into our earnings. They still have not fixed the bug. You can see all the graph is wrong. Looking at the dollar amounts, I definitely did not make 20s and 30s and teens for any of those weeks. And if you go, say, down to September 1st and September 7th, you'll see I made $21.45. So I have no idea what's going on there. So at any rate, I was able to get the money out of the Crimson. The card's still open, but it's got minimal balance. So we're going to go on in here. There's the $345.18. We're going to capture that. I know some of you don't like that. They're like, you're trying to get out of debt. But the backstory is I had fraud on my account. I had somebody maliciously go into my account through DoorDash support, or I don't know if it was an employee, that was doing something nefarious in the back end, but all of a sudden $21.87 was taken out of my account. Yeah, $2,187. That kind of throws a wrench into your finances when you have bills, up-and-coming car payments, rent, et cetera, So this is why, for me, paying $1.99 for me is insurance. It's insurance against DoorDash. And I will not use the Crimson card because they will not give you all of your cash. They limit the amount of money that you can take out. And, I'm done with that. This is just a holding tank for me to take it out. And if it costs me $1.99, so be it. Probably, if I talk to my accountant, it would probably be a tax write-off anyway. So I don't worry about pennies when I'm chasing dollars. All right, so let's go in and go take a look at our ratings. Currently, our ratings right now, we're at 84% acceptance rate, 100 CR, 100 on time, 5.0 customer rating. That did dip down to 4.99 for some reason. I don't know why. When I started, I think this morning, but it's bumped back up to 5. Currently at 11.06 for 30-day deliveries and 47,720. So those are my numbers. I'm sticking to it, and I'm going to end this video and head home. I hope that you made some good money today. Whatever dollar amount was your goal, I hope that you exceeded it. I hope that you have plans for that. Even if it's celebrating, if you're doing something, sometimes when you put a goal out there in front of yourself, you need to have small victories where you can say, let's celebrate. Let's get an ice cream. Let's go out to dinner. Let's, buy something for the household that we wanted. Let's give the money to charity. Whatever little thing is going to be your reward for reaching your goal. you need to do that. So with that, I hope you got home safe. I noticed that the snow is starting to melt already out on the East Coast, and watching Driving Daily's stream today. And yeah, I'm parked right now, and I'm not going to lean back. I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm going to probably go home and enter my numbers into my sheet, and I may even experiment with going live tonight. I was going to be going live on a nightly basis, but right now it's just currently too difficult until I get this laptop into the car and then try and retest it. So everything's in place to start going live. I'm just not going to be doing it. So I may just go live at home from the desktop or the laptop. And if you want to check in and you want to chat while I'm entering in the numbers, feel free. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions or help you get through the night and get home safe. So with that, I'm going to put this car in reverse. I'm going to go home and get some stuff done. Ciao.